Hi everyone, thanks for coming in late in the day, and I know you're all across Australia. My name's Mark Plowman. I'm based in Sydney and I'm a management and IT consultant and facilitator. My area that I work on is best practice frameworks, and business agility is a best practice framework, and it doesn't really tell you much by the title, business agility. It can be many different things, but really what it means is it's a mindset for any organisation, large or small, of continually improving and aiming for maximum efficiency by adopting what's already established, tried and true best practice. So we have a lot of options with our own businesses. We can increase what we call the organisational maturity or the efficiency of our organisation by trial and error. Try something, see if it works. If it doesn't work, try something different. Or as an alternative, we can select an existing best practice framework that's gone through all the trial and error that lots of organisations have adopted and enhanced over the years. And that quite often results in more rapid benefits of the adoption of better ways to operate. Now, I'm sure you've heard the term agile, being an agile business or using agile as a methodology for a particular project. It's very popular because it's all based on common sense and pragmatism. And being agile, there are specific project management agile frameworks out there, but being agile is really a mindset. It's a set of principles and things that we have in our mind that gives us an understanding of how best to serve our customer, to give value to them, to be results-based, to be focused on what are the results our customer wants, and then collaborating with our customer to help them achieve those results. So I've got the slide deck here, and please feel free to ask questions in the chat at any time. So we're going to have a short introduction on what being agile and this agile mindset is and how we can apply it to our organisation to improve the efficiency and reap the additional benefits of being more efficient in the way we operate. So here's the topics that we're going to cover. Specifically, what is this mindset? What's involved and what's the tools and techniques we use to be agile in business? Okay. And this is me. So I'm a management and IT consultant based here in Sydney. And I both facilitate courses in business best practice, what we call enterprise best practice, and also consult to organisations with organisational readiness, organisational maturity assessments, and strategy management and other aspects of best practice in organisations, including service management and service management excellence. So let's talk about what this agile mindset is. And if we first start by the definition of the word agile, of course, moving quickly and easily. And if we apply that in the business context, we mean to be able to change direction quickly when opportunities come up at short notice, to be able to grasp those opportunities and exploit the opportunities, and to really respond to change. And this is really what part of the agile mindset is. The fact that everything outside of our organisation is constantly changing. You've probably heard the axiom, change is a constant, and it very much so is in commerce, in business in general. Our customers have changing demands over time, and we can be producing the best services, the best products today, but if we don't take on an agile mindset and recognise that it is a very dynamic environment that we operate in, we can then, the amount of value that we provide to our customers can diminish if we just stay static, doing what we've always done, the way we've always done it, providing the products we've always provided. And I'll give you an example. Kodak cameras. They used to be the biggest camera company in the world. Not only did they provide cameras, but they provided developing services where we used to send off our photos, our film to the chemist or somewhere else to develop it. Then Kodak would either develop it or provide and sell the supplies, all the chemicals and the paper needed. And they were very successful and had lots of market share. Now, during that time in the past, their R&D had come up with a very early version of a digital camera. And the engineer said, look at this, management. We've produced a camera that doesn't require film, doesn't require any processing. And Kodak, instead of grasping the opportunity to evolve and continually improve and go with the digital camera, said, are you crazy? That'll cut out all our margin on a whole lot of products we sell. Stop working on that project, which they did. They left the company and digital cameras came out everywhere else. And as a result, Kodak has now shrunk to a much smaller organization. You can probably think of other examples of organizations. Blockbuster Video. We used to happily go off to the Blockbuster shop front and rent the physical DVD, bring it back, watch it, and then take it back to the store. They had the opportunity in the early days of Netflix, the streaming service, to buy Netflix. And they passed on the opportunity to change and to adapt and go off in a different direction with streaming. And now they're out of business because Netflix is a predominant player. We used to use Blackberries, and I had a number of Blackberries, and it was the device to be still being able to communicate with our customers, to access their emails, to take phone calls. BlackBerry didn't shift when the smartphones came out. They were very slow at introducing a touch screen. It was very clunky, the first version, and Apple iPhones and Android devices, etc., really took off. BlackBerry is a totally smaller and different organization just focused around software these days. So as change is a constant, we need to have this agile mindset that change is a good thing. And along with change comes opportunity. But we need to be able to pivot and take hold of the change and the opportunity when it presents to us, because there's another saying that says opportunity comes at the most inopportune times. And it won't come with a big sign to us saying, I am your opportunity. We have to recognize it and we have to grasp it. We need to be agile to be able to do that. So a few characteristics around an agile business is we can respond to change. We actually psychologically love change. We know it's inevitable. And if we don't change, everything outside, including our customers' demands, will change. So we want to keep realigning our business to those changing demands. And we need to be able to pivot quickly. We need to be able to change direction and respond to different customer requests quickly and continually give the customer what they want. We also, as part of the agile mindset, need to be focused on outcomes, not just the fact that we're busy, but what is it the customer really wants to achieve and how can we help achieve those objectives the customers have for the customer? And getting clarification and a deep understanding of what truly the customer needs and wants, as part of being a receptive, agile business. Collaboration, key word there. Collaboration is different to cooperation and communication. Communication is simply the transfer of information. And I'm using slides, and we talk about written word, documents, processes, etc. They're all a form of communication. Training is a form of communication. Telephone calls, of course. But when we collaborate, we work together with the customer and we share their goals, and we have common objectives and goals we both work at, both our customer and ourselves, in achieving when we truly collaborate. Cooperating is helping someone else with their goals, or they help us with ours, but collaborating is we're working as a cohesive team. And as a result of being a team, the net productivity is much greater than the sum of the individual parts. I call it a 1 + 1 = 3 when we collaborate efficiently. And a big part of this agile mindset is the fact that change is the constant in organizations. And we need to be prepared that change is the norm. But we also need to have that mindset that change is a good thing. With change comes opportunity, but we have to be ready and in a position to respond quickly to the change, because opportunities aren't there forever. So we need a mechanism to be able to quickly identify changes, opportunities, etc., that comes in. And it might be in the form of variations. We've established a contract to provide certain services to our customer, and now the customer changed their mind. We need to be receptive, say, sure, we can do that. Let me tell you what's involved and what it will cost. Rather than, oh, that's a bit late. You know, we really started this. We really should just leave it as it is, because it's just going to be hard work changing. So understanding, grasping the opportunity as it comes, understanding what it is and what we need to do and responding quickly is all part of having an agile mindset. And expect changes. We can expect when a customer wants something, they're likely to change their mind. We need to be in a position, if they do change their mind and want something else, we can respond and say, no problem. We can do that. We can pivot. And that's quite a key word. I actually heard the word pivot being used in the nightly news the other day. But we need to change direction with short notice, continually be responsive and truly help the customer with their changed requirements. And one way we do this in Agile is we don't do deep, detailed, long-term planning. Instead, we have a high-level plan, a structured approach of how we go about a certain amount of work. But we know there could possibly be change and expect change to happen during this work. So as to the detail hour by hour, we only have a short time horizon, maybe for the week, the next 2 weeks, for a longer type project. And then we have little stages, what we call sprints or increments. And each stage is designed to achieve producing some part of the products and services we provide the customer. And with each stage, we plan only one stage ahead, because the stage after, if we plan it now, we expose ourselves to the risk of change occurring. So when we get to the next stage and start the next sprint, then we have to scrap the plan, and that time we've invested in providing that detailed plan is wasted, only to have to do a new plan because there are now changes. Whereas if we defer the detailed planning and only do the detailed planning for the immediate stage of work or the immediate sprint, we are freer when we get to the next stage, when we plan just the next stage to incorporate any changes that have come along the way. Now, there's an interesting story that relates to the British Olympic rowing team. And the rowing team set out a strategy for planning for the next Olympics. And the team refined all their strategy down to one single question related to the outcome that they wanted. Whatever they were doing, whatever activity they were planning, they asked themselves one question. Will this activity we're about to do, will it make the rowboat go faster? And if the answer was no, they wouldn't do it. They were very outcome focused. So if they were increasing their training regime, will this make the boat go faster? Yes, let's do it. You can just imagine them on a Sunday, perhaps about to buy an ice cream, and then stop hesitating, going, buying this ice cream, will this make the boat go faster? Probably not. Let's give it a miss. But it was sharp focus with all that time leading up to the Olympics. And there's lots of articles about this team and this question about, will this make the boat go faster? Now, we can apply this same question to when we're doing work for customers. The activity we're about to get engaged in, will it help achieve the customer's objectives? Will it satisfy the customer's requirements? so that we keep focused on providing the outcomes that our customers want to achieve that we've been employed to assist them with. So it's a great way to just simplify our work, our life down to one single question. What we're about to do, will it benefit the customer? Will there be a benefit? Will it help me achieve the objectives that we've set? Now, we've already introduced this term collaboration, and particularly when we're working in teams in our organisation, we work as a cohesive team, and the team fails or succeeds as a team, not the individuals. And it's all about a collaborative team is self-organising. They don't wait to be asked to do the next task. They say, well, I'm free now. I'm going to take this task unless somebody's got something better for us. We're very proactive in searching out the work and getting the work done to achieve the objectives. And we collaborate, we communicate, as well as continually improving. At certain times during the project, we have a short meeting called a retrospective where we reflect on how we've worked as a collaborative team and identify those elements, those aspects that we carried out that worked really well, that we want to continue into the future. And those processes or activities that were problematic, that we experienced some issues with, let's discard them. They're not working for us. Let's put them aside and make a point of not using those in the next part of the project or the next customer project. And then the third question we have is, what's the new things we can try to see that may work better? But remember, collaboration, the key to the word collaboration is all working with the one shared goal. So collaboration with our customers, collaboration with our suppliers, collaboration with other stakeholders, really important, particularly with our customer. I've a bit of background in IT and IT projects, and in the old days, I'm talking about 20 years past, where we didn't have a lot of understanding of best practice and there was not a lot of best practice, public best practice frameworks available. IT would tend to have one discussion with their customer and then go away with this mindset that we know better than the customer as to what they would need, and then work in isolation, what we call a silo environment, and produce a solution for the customer and come out of hiding after 6 or 12 months where there's been no collaboration with the customer and provide a solution that's just not fit for purpose. And the customer said, look, that might have been a little bit of help 6, 12 months ago, but we really wish we'd been involved. Really wish you'd come and collaborated with us. We could have explained what we needed and things have changed since then. So really that solution you've prepared for us, we're going to have to throw it in the bin and start again. And this is what we used to have before we recognized the power of collaboration. We'd work in silos without continual, I don't mean continuous, but regular input collaboration from the customer. And when we get this input from the customer, we're also getting their buy-in. They're feeling a part of the design process and the progress of the project. They're also seeing, because of collaborating, they're seeing the progress we're making as well. And they're more likely to be happy with the solution because they've been part of it as well. Now, along with collaboration, another part of the Agile mindset is knowing that the most valuable resource we have is time. A lot of people would argue that money is more valuable than time, but I would suggest I can sacrifice some of my time. I can go and get a second job, maybe a weekend job, if I need to generate more money. But when it comes to generating more time in my life, I can't spend money to guarantee that I'll get more time. So in our projects, especially in the work that we do for our customers, part of being an agile business and having this agile mindset is to be very conscious that time is a very valuable resource. Once the time is spent, it's gone, we can't call it back. So we have a disciplined time management approach. to dealing with time, particularly on our projects. And this counts, this is just as important as teamwork or individual work in an organisation. That we quite happily, perhaps, when a stranger comes up to us in the street and wants to talk to us for 10 to 15 minutes, we'll quite happily give that time to them. But if they came up and said, can you give me $10 or $15, we'd probably be more hesitant. But you know what, by giving them the time, we're giving them a very valuable resource. So as part of Agile, we have this concept of a time box. A time box is simply a fixed amount of time that we allocate. We might estimate how long it takes, build some sort of contingency to make sure it is sufficient time, including any risks that may occur or delays. And then we establish that as the time box. A time box is a concrete conception of a concrete fixed amount of time. Time boxes don't expand. And we can use this in many examples. Projects is a time box. When we set the expectation with our customers to deliver in 6 months, then that expectation is communicated and we need to fix that. And we need to do everything we can to deliver in 6 months' time to meet the customer's expectations. Same with our meetings. When we have meetings, and some meetings I call talk fests. They're the ones you've probably experienced over the years. No agenda. There seems to be no pre-consideration as to what we're going to talk about or what there is to achieve the workshop objectives. And the workshop or the meeting goes on and on. So meetings, we time box. We say, okay, we're going to have a 1 hour meeting or a 45-minute meeting. And here's the objectives. By the end of this meeting, we will have achieved this. And we have an agenda, which is a roadmap of how we're going to achieve the objectives by the end of the time, or by the end of the time box, that is the meeting. So here's some other examples that we can apply the time box principle in our work. So any meeting or workshop, and it's interesting, we quite often default to an hour for a meeting. Why? Because it's an allocated position or distance in our calendar. No reason to think outside the box and go, you know what, this is only going to need 45 minutes. Let's have a 45-minute meeting rather than an hour meeting, and then we can use that other 15 minutes for something else to be productive. So our whole projects, whether they're large or small, formally called a project or not, a body of work, we time box and we communicate the expectation to our customers of what this length of time to complete the project will be. And once we do communicate it, then there is an expectation that will be met. Those short sprints or stages that I was talking about in the time box, they too are, in the project, they too are time boxed. So typically your sprint, which is like an individual stage where we are focused to deliver one part of our customer solution, we time box that somewhere between 1 to 6 weeks. In some project work could be shorter, and preferably shorter sprints are more advantageous. And again, it's a fixed amount of time. Now, with this fixed amount of time, there is uncertainty called risk. Some of our team can go off sick. There could be rain delays. There could be other risks that appear that could increase the demand of our time, increase the cost as well. Well, in an agile framework, we factor in a contingency. In some cases, we even say we will. We know it's so important to deliver this project on time for you. So what we're going to do is, if we have a severe issue that it crops up, we reserve the right to reduce the work only by sufficient and only by the least important work, so that we still deliver on time. So instead of stretching the time box out, which we know is a fixed amount of time, and disappointing the customer because their expectation is we deliver on time, we take some things out that are not so important. And I'll give you an example. If I get a house built and I'm really keen to get in the house and I'm told I can get in the house by Christmas, I can go, great, I can save rent. I will indicate to my landlord that I wish to vacate the premises at Christmas, And all that rent I save, I can start paying off the mortgage. And if my builder rings me up in early December and says, Mark, I'm really sorry, we've had delays, it's going to take longer, I think March, I'll say, wait a minute, what are the things that are still left to do? Oh, you know, we've got to paint the walls and we've got to put the doorknobs on. I said, no problem. They're so low in the priority. I'm happy to move in without the doorknobs in. And I'm happy to live in a house initially without paint. Please still deliver on time, because far more important to me is that I have a roof over my head, I have a lock-up house, I'm protected from the weather, I have somewhere to sleep overnight. Oh, that's okay. We can do that. We can give you the keys and then we can carry on. If you don't mind us painting around you, no problem. I'll be at work. You come in the day and paint, as long as I get in early. So we can, instead of expanding the time, we can take certain things out. And those certain things are prioritized by our customer on value. The least valuable things are the things that we would start to take out. And we only need to take those out if the uncertainty causes some delay. Otherwise, we deliver 100% of what we said on time. So time boxing is a great psychological part of the mindset of Agile that we get into, that time's very precious, so we time box our work. And it also stops over tinkering. You know how, and I do this with slides and other documents. I go, oh, I might change the font. That looks like a better font. Now I might change this. And I just burn so much time. I had something 2 hours ago that was definitely presentable, but I just tried to gold plate it. Having a time box discipline stops all that tinkering. We are focused, we have this much time, we must deliver to our customer these things. A minimum of this work, preferably all this work, this scope of work at the end of the time box. Now, also part of Agile is having this customer focus. What is it the customer needs and how can we help in achieving the customer? So again, it requires collaboration with the customer and getting that true understanding of what they need, not what we think they need, but what they need. And we spend some time, of course, with the customer, possibly more than once, and preferably as we progress, we're showing them. We're getting this feedback saying, well, this is our design so far. Do you like it? Are there any things we can change that would improve that design for you? So we have these little validation checkpoints, we call it. So we don't progress too far in the wrong direction without being corrected and confirming with the customer that we're progressing in the right direction in helping them achieve their objectives and giving them value. Now, there's also another very popular framework called Lean. And there's with all these frameworks, there's lots of free resources, YouTube videos and other documents out in the internet. But Lean thinking is again part of Agile mindset. First, the key thing we're doing is providing value to our customer. And it could be in the form of a beautifully landscaped garden, as an example, or it could be a Big Mac burger if we're a hamburger store. But whatever it is, we are there and we're only there as a supplier because the customer has asked us for something that will give them value. So how do we give them value? Firstly, we have to understand who the customer is, because the value is in the perspective of the customer's eyes, not the supplier's eyes. So we need to identify who the customer is and what is their take on this value. Then, once we understand the value from their perspective, we set up what's called a value stream, which is a process or a series of processes that how we're going to provide value to them. And you might just set up a value stream as a standard way of engaging with your customer in getting their understanding of what they need as far as landscaping, and then going about doing all the things, procuring all the materials, etc., and perhaps doing a layout, a drawing, a conceptual design, showing them. But you establish a standard value stream path of activities that results in value. That is, they get beautifully landscaped gardens. Okay, so we identify all the events, all the activities that makes up this value stream. And the term value stream simply refers to a process that is triggered by demand, such as the customer saying, can you do this work for me? And it results in giving them value in some sort. And the value is the outcome The actual deliverable may be a garden, but the actual outcome, the result of them receiving the garden, is value to them. So we identify all the activities and then we create a flow. So it's very easy for them to trigger our value stream of asking us for things and us providing it at the other end and giving them value. And we set it all up to flow. So it's all triggered on customer, maybe calling up or sending an email. Can you do this? Yes, we can. And that's where the value stream is triggered. And we constantly review the value stream, regularly review the value stream, and regularly look at how could we improve it. And we ask our customer quite often, post-delivery surveys. We just did this work for you. Would you mind? We would greatly appreciate you filling out this short customer satisfaction survey. And based on the results we get back from that survey, we can then pursue perfection. We can continually improve our value streams and the way we deal and the customer experience in our value stream as well. And that's called lean thinking. Very simple approach, but great set of 5 steps to keep in mind to continually providing value and greater value on a continual basis to our customers. Keeping the customer and their value in the center of this, in the thinking. Now, from time to time, we have meetings. I like to call them workshops, as opposed to talk fests. We have meetings with other team members, we have meetings with customers, we have meetings with suppliers. And again, it's an investment in time, so we should time box meetings. But to make sure it's a valuable investment, then we need to establish the workshop roles. So we have a facilitator for a workshop so that can control and direct the execution of our agenda. We should have a written agenda, could be in the form of an email, but some sort of agenda that describes the topics and the journey that we're going to take in this workshop to achieve the workshop objectives. And that's the other thing with every meeting or workshop that we go into, we have to be very clear about why are we going to the workshop. What is it that we want to achieve from this workshop? And before I even establish that it's going to be a workshop, I stop and say, do I really need a workshop? Could I resolve this in some other way? Could I achieve these objectives by an email or some other method? And a lot of the times the answer is no. The best way is a face-to-face meeting. So I do that, but I make sure all the participants in the workshop are very clear on what the objectives of the workshop are. It might be to gather customer requirements. It might be to review a garden design. It might be to review a finished garden. Okay. And whatever it is, let's be very clear of what we've got to achieve within the time box, within the fixed amount of time, so we have it all achieved at the end. And even with our workshops, we can have these short little retrospectives, okay, to say, well, how did that go? Well, it was great, but we noticed the customer was asking questions throughout. So let's change our approach. Let's welcome questions and make sure the customer is aware that we are very comfortable for them to ask questions throughout the workshop, and we can continually improve the effectiveness of even a workshop. When we talk roles, you know, we establish, and it doesn't have to be a big workshop, but somebody needs to facilitate it. Somebody needs to be responsible for setting the agenda, distributing the agenda, booking rooms if we need to, or other technology, or setting up a Zoom meeting, and facilitating the progress of the workshop to ensure all the objectives of the workshop are achieved by the end of the time box. We can sometimes have scribes involved that record. Quite often the scribe can be our phone, because we can digitally record it if everybody's in agreement. And then of course, circulating what's been scribed or other results quickly after. What's been agreed to in the workshop, send it out to our customers saying, this is what my understanding is. If there's any errors or something I've missed, please let me know. Otherwise, this is what we've agreed to, or this is what we've understood as your requirements going forward. So common features of a really effective, because workshops can be expensive. It's not only the customer's time, it's our time we're taking, and possibly others as well, if we've got others involved. And it's an expensive exercise, but it can be a very good investment in time if it's done correctly. So Continual improvement, looking at how we facilitate workshops. Ask ourselves quickly after your workshop, what worked really well in the workshop that was great benefits from doing that. Let's keep doing it in the next workshop. And what was problematic during the workshop? Let's stop doing that. And what are new things we can try that might be even better next time we have a workshop? We call that a retrospective. We do it for workshops, we do it for projects as well. But it's it's a continual improvement, because remember, everything's changing. We've got to, if we're not improving, we're going backwards like Kodak. So a word on improvement, a continual improvement, and I have another talk specifically about adopting a continual improvement culture in our organisation, whether our organisation is just us, just one person. The term organisation simply is defined as an individual or a group that have specific skills, capabilities, responsibilities, and authorities to achieve specific objectives. And I've been in a one person group, one person organisation, and having a continual improvement culture means it's not enough to do what we do today over and over again into the future. We've got to look at better ways, more efficient ways, and different ways to provide value to our customers, more efficient ways, doing those ways at lower cost, lower risk, etc. So a few characteristics are getting across to the whole organisation and the team that we work in, that continual improvement is everybody's responsibility. During their work, if they see a better way to do things, raise it. Raise it as an opportunity to improve with everybody else, and let's make it happen if it is an improvement. And all improvement opportunities should be recorded, such as well as just typically like our customer requests for work. We should have it recorded so we don't forget. We don't let any continual improvement opportunities slip by the cracks and be forgotten, because we only get the extra benefit when we actually implement the improvement. Great to have good ideas about improvement, but if we're not actually realizing and making the improvements, we're not getting the benefit from the improvements. So quite often in an organization, we'll have a continual improvement practice, possibly a team or one person that drives improvement throughout the organization and makes sure there is budget and time available to make the improvements. Because improving our organization is a different aspect to serving our customers. So we have operations as well as improvement, and we need both. So having an improvement practice could be just one person, or if we've got more people dedicated, a team, an organization of one or more that is focused on continual improvement of every aspect of our organization, our processes, the way we engage with our customers, our products and services, our adoption of best practice, going on, continually improving that. That's a focus of it, and it's a culture we're building that we need to continually improve. It doesn't mean we're doing things badly, but we need to, change is a constant. We need to constantly adapt to that change so we can continue to be sustainable into the future and continue to give value to our customers. Now, I'll go to questions. If anyone, now some questions that have been raised in the chat, if you'd like to unmute your mic and ask questions, you're welcome to. A very short introduction to this agile mindset, but can be very useful, being continually relevant and having a sustainable business as a result. One of the questions I've received is, how do you embed the time box in your business plan? Well, your business plan should consist of a vision, a vision of what we call a future state. That is an improved organization, and a high-level vision of what that organization is when we say it's an improved organization into the future. And then we have a mission statement that describes what our business is about and what we do, which is a roadmap to realizing that vision, followed by objectives. And objectives are simply measurable goals. No use saying we want to be good. What is good? Let's put it in measurable terms. Perhaps good is to increase our satisfaction ratings from our customers, or having more customers, or having more revenue, or having more lines of opportunity and more services we offer our customers. Good can be many things, but let's put it in a measurable set of terms so we can measure our improvement efforts towards achieving that objective. And then we have our strategies, which is where our business plans come in, of achieving. The strategy is achieving the objectives, which in turn, when we've achieved our objectives, we've completed our mission. And when we've completed our mission, we have realized our vision. And that's when we started all over again and set a new vision and new objectives. So the answer to where do we put the time box, it's in our activities. It's in our day-to-day tactics, such as our meetings, our projects. We think of our projects as a fixed amount of time, and we must deliver on time. And we do everything, including having contingency, so we deliver on time to our customers, so we delight our customers every day. Warren Buffett, a well-known investor, says, you know what? The objective of every organization should be to delight their customers on a daily basis. And part of delivering on time, the delivering on time is part of that, providing the delight to the customers. I hope that helps answer the question. The time box are tools and techniques and a thinking of what we're doing to achieve our business plan. The next question is, what's the difference between a visionary mindset and an agile mindset? And can they be aligned? Absolutely. A visionary mindset is, again, setting visions and having visions. I think back to McDonald's, where the McDonald's brothers had established a great value stream. And they've actually aligned all their kitchen utensils and appliances so that their hamburger making flows in a value stream. And then a guy called Ray Kroc, who was selling them milkshake makers, saw what they were doing. And he had a vision that the brothers didn't have. He saw this going across America with these burger stores using the same value streams and the same setup, cookie cut, repeated, duplicated everywhere, and saw it on a grand $1 billion revenue turnover scale that the brothers couldn't see. And they actually sold out to Ray for, I think, 2 or 3 million. They just had a vision of retiring, each with $1 million in their pocket, and they were happy. But Ray was a visionary, so was able to picture conceptually initially in his mind, the future of the company. So having a visionary mindset is establishing the targets. There's a really great Italian saying, we throw our hat over the fence. That is, we set ourselves targets to achieve, such as getting our hat over the fence. And then we work out how we're going to do it, how we get it back. So set the vision first, and then work out how we're going to achieve the vision. And while we're achieving the vision, know that change is an opportunity to realize our visions and have this agile mindset so that we can be agile and customer focused and time efficient in executing our vision. So they both work really well, and they're both part of established best practice. So I hope that helps answer the question. Would there be any more questions or any discussion around what we've talked about and applying it to your type of organization? No, it doesn't seem to be.
Doesn't seem to be.
There's this thing called organizational maturity, and there's a great Wikipedia article. If you type in, search on CMMI, short for capability, maturity, model integration. It talks about how we can improve our organization by working smart, not hard, and setting processes, standard processes in place for all the value streams and all the other activities we do on a regular basis in our organization. And it's another example of a best practice approach. Great reading, but it shows you quite simply by the introduction of standard ways of doing things and measurement of results, like in surveying our customers and measuring times and how many times did we deliver on time to a customer as a ratio of 100%, and putting in actions to increase those metrics, increase those measurements, we continually improve and our organisation becomes more mature. And the more mature organisation we have, the more resaleable when we want to, quite a lot of times our organisation is our superannuation. But a lot of the times, all the intellectual property, all the processes, policies and things are in our head. Whereas if we establish a best practice framework with policies, processes, standard ways we do things, and a continual improvement culture, we have a very saleable asset on our hands when we do want to retire. So if you're interested in best practice frameworks, there's a lot out there. CMMI, organisational maturity, is interesting. Also lean. There's lots of resources about lean, of how we improve our processes and improve the way we do things for greater efficiency by getting rid of waste, bottlenecks, etc. in our processes. So if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time, coming and joining us. And I hope it is of value. If you have any follow-up questions, please don't, if it's okay with Vanessa, if would that be appropriate if they contacted you, Vanessa, to pass on the questions?
Yeah, of course.
Is that okay? And then Vanessa will pass them on to me and I will respond, and we can share the questions and answers with everybody.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Okay.
And you mentioned that you could do another talk on continual improvement practice. So what?
Yes.
Cover a little bit about
that. There's another aspect called adopting a continual improvement culture within our organisation, and I go into more detail about the techniques we use to embed continual improvement as a regular set of operations, and the results is reflected in greater value to our customers, greater customer satisfaction, more customers. But we talk about specifically the techniques of what we establish in an organisation. And again, an organisation can be small, one-person organisation, or very large, BHP. But we look at the techniques. And again, it's only approximately 50 minutes with a Q&A. So it's a short, sharp, hopefully valuable session, which I'm very happy, if the group has interest in that, very happy to organise a future talk.
Okay. Well, yeah, what does everyone think? Let me know if you're interested in doing that. I think it's good, really good to just take a step back and assess and think about these bigger picture things, like we all get so bedded down in doing the day-to-day stuff.
And responding to customer demands, we do. I agree.
Yeah, it's sort of lose sight of the whole big picture, and now it's sort of, I find it quite motivating to listen to you and to hear these ideas. And sometimes it's just reinstilling things that we're already doing, or you think, oh, that's good, I do that, or oh, I really should do that more, or what have you. But yeah,
it's a good point you make, Vanessa. Just the awareness of going, oh yeah, I should actually focus on the business more. I should spend time to, how can I improve it? How can I increase the efficiency? How can I increase the revenue? Otherwise, you get tied up in the business rather than working on the business.
Yeah, that's right. And make it all work better for you and the customer. And yeah, putting that customer focus back as well. It's always good. So I think it was really useful and interesting. I think you did a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, and to tell us also a bit about you. I mean, you've done this for free today, so
yeah, absolutely. And I'm very passionate about our job, but I'm also very passionate about the philosophy of best practice, you know, and doing things more efficiently that generates more value. If we're going to put some effort into an organisation, let's get great results. So, and it's an incremental approach. We try something, if it works, and then we try something else, and we incrementally improve. And I love that area. So I teach a lot. I teach specific project management methodologies Agile included. I teach business analysis, which is again understanding, using all the tools and techniques to get an understanding of the customer's requirements and delivering value against those specific requirements, as well as service management. There's a whole set of courses and areas of consulting on the premise of providing what the customer asks for and giving them value as a result, not only today, but into the future. So my company is involved in consulting as well as coaching people and helping people increase their organizational maturity, their efficiency and effectiveness, and other best practice, as well as facilitating courses on the subjects.
Oh, okay. So are your courses like a course on at this time? Like, is it like a week course?
Oh yeah, they're short courses. So depending on the topic, they can range from 1 to 5 days. So they're quite compact. It's not like you have to do a semester or anything. They're depending on the course, 1, 3, 5 days typically, and 5 days the longest of any of the courses, such as a project manager course for a systematic approach, best practice approach to project management. The longest one is 5 days, and that includes the 5 days. Actually includes a industry certification exam, and providing they pass, they get a certification.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you just sort of like have a course schedule that you put out, or is it just as people approach you, you tailor courses to them?
Yes, it's usually I do have, as you know, I teach for DDLS in Sydney.
Yeah.
Hence, I know Mark, your husband, but also Sydney University short courses, and I do have a range of on-demand courses from my own company, Management Software Design, but it's more a customer comes to me with particular requirements and we do it on demand for them. But through the other organisations like Sydney Uni, DDLS, etc., they actually publish scheduled courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could potentially, if Aldem wanted to do a 1-day course.
Oh yes.
Landscape designers, we could that.
Certainly do that, and because all the participants are from one organisation, we could customise it specifically to the context of the audience. That's the great thing of having those, all from the one place rather than people from different companies and public service. So we could absolutely do that. So if any of your members have interest in progressing further and looking at attending short courses like that, and very flexible, we could run them possibly weekends or evenings, or possibly during the day as well.
Yeah, you could potentially break it up over,
over a number of weeks, say one night a week or something. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
2 hours a night over a month or whatever, like something like that.
Yeah. And particularly project management, because I think it's very applicable to landscaping. And all the techniques to ensure that we achieve success at the end of each project. So if there's interest in that, please let Vanessa know.
Yeah, please let me know and we can organise it.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful as landscape designers, and the way our insurance is, not to call ourselves a project manager.
Oh yes. Okay, it's interesting. Right.
I can't remember the term for it at the moment.
Okay.
Nikki will know.
I do. It's supervisor.
Supervisor. Yeah.
Okay. I hadn't heard of that constraint before.
Yeah, but, I mean, we can coordinate a job. We just can't. We can't take payment for the work. So we can get the landscaper to do it, but the landscaper has to pay the customer directly.
Right.
So we can't have any monetary transactions.
Oh yes.
I'm sure the general principles of managing a project still apply.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's interesting. Anyway, so yes, everybody, please let me know if you're interested in doing another session with Mark on the continual improvement practice. or we could organise, you know, a short course.